Then can you get me some... Oh, you son of a bitch. Started eating the cookies without me? Hang on, guys, one sec. I can't fucking believe you started eating those cookies without me.
You just been saying that for days.
I bought them.
Do you want some?
Yeah. And welcome to another week.
Go again.
No, that's not staying in. Go on, Oscar.
Yeah, that was absolutely fantastic. Welcome to another episode of the Miles Offside podcast, where we talk a little bit of football and a whole lot of The Lion King.
Apparently.
My name is Oscar Puente, also known as Footy from Afar, and with me as always is my co-host Chuck Bailey.
I know who you are. You're Mufasa's boy.
Man, you are ready to go with those Lion King references. You didn't have to think about that.
Bloody love The Lion King.
It's great. It's probably the best Disney movie.
Animated. Hercules.
Oh.
Bloody love Hercules.
Hercules is underrated.
Underrated maybe, but best? You're insane.
That's like my favourite. It's got Michael Bolton, man. Michael Bolton sings the theme song. Ish. Do you know, like when they do the different version in the credits?
Yeah,
where in Beauty and the Beast, all of a sudden you had like Celine Dion and Peebo Bryson, who incidentally has one of my favourite names ever, Peebo.
He is so extra too when he sings too. He's like, like he's fucking ridiculous. He's so over the top that he makes Celine Dion seem tame, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And what's the other really good one? The bad version of Circle of Life that Elton John sings. And Elton John's a legend, but that is not a good version of...
Sort of like a white Peebo Bryson, in a way.
He's often called that.
Because he sings like that. He does sing it like that.
It's a circle of life.
Circle of life. When he moves us on. Sorry.
Oh, man.
So, welcome to this week's Disney podcast. I think we just found something to talk about in the international break, lads. There we go.
For sure. In the background there, I forgot to introduce him, but he's already contributed a bit. We got super producer. He's the one that does all the work and makes us sound real good. Ian Stimson.
How you doing? You well?
Good. Do you have any super hot takes on Disney movies, Ian, or leave that to Chuck?
No, nothing to beat what you guys have just come up with. Jesus.
That was awesome. So, we are back with all the Premier League action. So we're going to take you through all the fixtures, take you into some listener questions, some predictor league results, and maybe take a look at the upcoming weekend, and that should make it a pod. Yeah, sounds good?
Yeah,
indeed.
Why not?
Excellent. This won't really be in our wheelhouse or of our usual tone, but before we do get into the fixtures, in lieu of a news segment where we would normally have our rapid fire news, we just want to point out the one big story that's going on this week, which is that Cristiano Ronaldo has a ongoing investigation into some rape allegations in Nevada. I honestly don't feel qualified enough to have a take on this, other than to say that it's a very important story that all of you out in Mopland should be getting educated about. Should make sure you read up on it. And we didn't really want to let the week go by and just ignore it and pretend that it wasn't there. But that's not generally the type of podcast that we are. So we just want to acknowledge that, say it's a thing, say we want to encourage everyone to read up on it, get educated, and kind of leave it there. Do you guys have anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it would have been disingenuous not to include it when possibly the most famous footballer gets accused of rape, and obviously it's been ignored by a lot of news outlets. So, yeah, I think you're right. We're of the opinion that no one's untouchable. You shouldn't be able to throw money at this sort of thing and make it go away. So if you do want to find out more about it, we urge you to check out Christoph Winterbach's Twitter feed. He's at the Winterbachs. That would be DER Winter BACH. He's a journalist for Der Spiegel magazine, and he's done a lot of the work on the story, and it might be worth taking the time to check it out.
Yeah, like I said, we don't want to make light of it. We don't really want to get into any of it because it's not our type of story, and that's not how our, we don't really take too many things seriously, but just putting that out there. But moving right on to get back to the silliness that we usually do. West Ham 3, Man United 1 to start off the weekend. So I put it to you guys, will Jose Mourinho coach another match for Manchester United?
For West Ham? Yeah, I don't know. Like, Pellegrini's doing himself a good service now.
Yeah, not sure they'd have him.
Yeah, we did say at the start, like, it was probably take West Ham a bit of time to get going. But, you know, we thought they were good. And they're kind of coming good now, but it still just makes me question whether that's because whether it is because West Ham are on the rise and Man United are massively on the wane. Because Man United just looked fucking awful in that game. Even with, you know, Player of the Year 2017-18 Scott McTominay filling in at fucking centre-back.
Oh my god, that was ridiculous.
Player of the Year.
So I guess to what extent do we think that this was and the answer is probably going to be a bit of both, but to what extent is this a monumental collapse by United, horrible performance, and to what extent do we want to give credit to West Ham here?
I think it's less of a monumental collapse, more of a sort of continuous tumble. Like sort of, you know, when you see those videos of people who are like walking down the street and they walk over a patch of ice and then they start to flail a little bit and then you think they've got it and then they just go fucking hell for leather and their limbs fly everywhere and all of a sudden they're on their arse.
Yeah, it's falling down a massive tube escalator.
Yeah. United are about 90% of the way through that process.
That reminds me of my favorite, one of my favorite internet videos of people being assholes where that couple is out jogging in the snow. They're like, oh, it's really low impact. It's really good for your knees. And the news reporter's like, okay, go have fun with that. And immediately, like 10 seconds later, they're running and one of them just slips and like busts their ass real hard on the concrete. And the news reporter just goes, whoops, guess that can happen. Yeah, it's real funny. Just the most like pretentious, privileged people being like, oh, this is great running weather. Actually, I think it's really good to run when it's snowing. It's much better than, running on concrete.
An official request for more of that voice, Oscar.
Okay, yeah, I'll keep that up. I usually say that's my news broadcaster voice.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the stats guy, local resident stats guy, so just to talk about the stats a bit. Man United 0.87 XG on the day, so scoring one off that, pretty close. West Ham 1.3, so that's decidedly better than Man United, but it's certainly not 3 goals scored. So I would say the scoreline flatters West Ham a bit, especially with an own goal, but also, like, United didn't do enough to win the match, so I don't think that was particularly unfair on them. And just more than even the, like, stats aside, United just looked so dead that entire match. Like, they just did not fucking care at all, and they weren't closing down any 50-50s. I heard the guys on the Guardian's Football Weekly podcast saying that they had the least low-intensity runs of any match in the last couple of years in that match, Man United. So just, like, nobody sprinting for anything. Just utterly tragic performance from United.
Are they actively trying to get Jose sacked? I mean, Pogba did not look up for it at all, which you can hardly blame him for.
Oh, it was so amazing when he got subbed off.
Yeah.
It was just fucking hilarious, and like everyone was watching, and the reason they kept the camera on him for so long was just like, is he gonna shake Jose's hand? Is he gonna shake Jose's hand? Nope, doesn't shake his hand.
Didn't even look
straight
at him.
past. Doesn't even look at him.
I thought he might have punched him, honestly, especially after that video from the training ground.
Oh, God.
Did we talk about that last week? I don't actually remember if we did.
No, because it came out literally the day after we recorded and the day before we released.
Yeah, so that video, like, he looked like he was about to punch Jose Mourinho right in the fucking mouth. I don't know what Jose said to him.
It's literally like he made a horrendous "your mama" joke and he went, what did you just say?
Yeah.
No, someone cleaned up the audio and lip read it, and it was all about Instagram posts and whether something was done, like, if not during the match, like just after, whatever, because he calls the press officer over and goes like, when was it posted? And Pogba's basically like, what, I can't post things now. So it's all about fucking Instagram.
It's a bit impressive if he's posted on Instagram during the match, though.
Well, yeah, okay. I don't know whether... when I said that, I was like, was there a cup match that he wasn't involved in? And then I was like, yeah, maybe not. Anyway.
No, he probably just has an Apple Watch,
Yeah, exactly. It's easy, isn't it?
It's easy enough. But yeah, I mean, I'm the one that's kind of been championing West Ham a lot so far, being like, oh, they're better than they look. I'm not going to be in last place in the predictor league by the end of the year because West Ham. They looked better today, and they looked pretty good against Chelsea also, and those are two good teams to look pretty good against. Well, I guess Manchester United, maybe not as good. We just talked about that, but
they have 4 good results. Like, they beat Everton 3-0. They drew 0-0 to Chelsea. They smashed Macclesfield, albeit they are the worst team categorically in the Football League, 8-0. And then they beat Man United 3-1. So, this is what happens when podcast favourite Mark Noble has a game of his life and just gets left alone to just maraud and pick out passes for Arnautovic to play him in on one-on-ones. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Honestly, it's hard to understate how much losing Jack Wilshere in the midfield improved their performances and improved their squad and their balance and all of that. Like, definitely a case of addition by subtraction there.
I mean, that, and also the fact that no one is pressuring Mark Noble at all. So all of a sudden he can just sit back and pick out passes like fucking KDB and make himself look amazing.
I heard people on Twitter, or I didn't hear them, I guess I should say. I saw people on Twitter talking about West Ham having the best front three in the league. And it wasn't even West Ham fans. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with people? Like, yeah, they look good, especially Arnautovic. Not really sure how that's pronounced. Arnie, let's go with.
Arnie, yeah.
But that's fucking excessive. But they are pretty good, I guess. Do we like their front three?
It's not a bad front three to have, but Yarmolenko and Anderson, Yarmolenko didn't play for like 4.5 games and didn't look great. He's had kind of one really good performance. He scored a couple of great goals. Anderson has only really come into it in the last 3 games, and we know Arnautovic, if his head goes, then he throws his toys out of the pram and can be absolutely terrible. So, no. Who's saying they're the best front three in the Premier League?
I don't know, some jackass on Twitter.
I mean, that says everything, really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Fucking Twitter.
But I remember it wasn't even a West Ham fan, and I was like, holy shit, that's an actual take. Like, you're not just being biased. That's just insane. Arnie, though, is good enough to play for one of the big 6, yeah?
No.
No? You don't think so?
No. In a way, he's good to play for this top 6 in the way that Shaqiri is good to play for a top 6 team. Like, he's not going to play that much, and he's not going to be like the main guy for a front. I mean, to move on to the next fixture, like, would he replace Lacazette or Aubameyang at Arsenal?
No, but he could replace some of their wide players that they play regularly. Like, fucking Iwobi gets minutes there. And Arnautovic is definitely better than Iwobi. No? You're not convinced?
Not entirely.
Both of you guys are like, I think Arnautovic could contribute more to Arsenal than Iwobi does. Maybe I just dislike Iwobi.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe certainly more than Özil. Let's say that. We'll agree that he can contribute, even though Özil scored this weekend, which I believe was his first goal at home for like 2 years or something stupid like that. I heard.
Yep, brought him into my fantasy football team.
For this week against Watford.
No, I did it after that in the biggest knee-jerk drunk panic like that you've ever seen. I'm thinking double move Mane and Jorginho to Ozil and Son, and maybe captaining Son this week because I am fucking panicking.
Yeah, that's.
I mean,
bad.
there's a good reason why I'm beating you if that's your fucking logic.
No, because you're beating me, I'm doing shit like this. I am absolutely.
Am I in your head? Am I living in your head?
You've got fully in my head.
This is fucking amazing.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
looking at the league,
mate.
I was just like, what is going wrong? And I'm just
living up there rent free.
I'm combusting.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
That's such a spectacularly bad move.
Yeah, I know. I'm under no illusions. I know how bad it is. Yeah.
Bringing in an Arsenal player right now. Yeah. Ozil of all of the Arsenal players too.
Like, you say bringing in an Arsenal player. Like, they've just won 7 games on the bounce. They're starting to look a bit more like a team. Of course, it's still Arsenal, so there's only so much Emery would have done to iron out 20 odd years of Wenger. But no, they're looking a lot better, I think, and they've still got those fullbacks that effectively come in as centre forwards half the time. the amount of times you see balls coming across and it's being played from Bellerin to Monreal or Monreal to Bellerin into the box. Like, it's mental how attacking those guys are.
Yeah, that's almost Alonso levels of absurdly attacking. Like, it's crazy. Alonso's basically a striker, and so these guys are not that far off that. Arsenal are way overperforming their stats. Like, they're scored 14, but XG has them at 9.
Oh, wow.
So that's very much higher.
Yeah.
And I actually started to get into this on Twitter the other day. Like, there's 2 ways that a team can overperform XG. One is with elite finishing talent, and one is by a bit of luck, basically, right? Like, you put in a few shots, you're randomly running hot, stuff bounces your way.
Well, or high levels of penalties, because they don't count under XG, do they?
Yes, that is true. Oh shit, I never thought about that.
You're welcome.
That completely derails my argument. Well, no, have Arsenal had a lot of penalties, though?
No, but it ties into what you've been saying a few times in that exposing that Harry Kane isn't that good and why Spurs are kind of overperforming their stats as well, because Kane scored 3 penalties already this year?
Yeah, I think so, at least 3. Three I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, so that's the same thing as why Spurs haven't been that convincing, and I'm sure if we look at the stats for them, they'll have been overperforming their XG and expected points or whatever else is coming in now. And why none of us, well, us 3 certainly, have been inspired by Spurs this year so far.
Yeah, so Spurs 2, Huddersfield 0 over the weekend. You would think Spurs can score more than that on Huddersfield, especially one is a penalty. They almost had conceded first early on in the match. And then one was a play where Harry Kane scores a header, but only after the Huddersfield defense had completely switched off because they thought that there was going to be a whistle. And they stupidly didn't play to the whistle, they just stopped. But he got a wide open header. But looking at their stats, actually Spurs are just about at the right spot in terms of goals scored. They have 12.5 XG, 14 scored. So that's not that different at all.
No, I suppose not. But when you're playing Huddersfield, who are so fucking shit, like you've got to play into the fact of the psychological bump. Man City smashed Huddersfield 6-0. Yeah, let's say that. Why not? And so many teams are going to blow them away this year that you just think like just to get a 2-0 solid, both first half goals, nothing in the second half, is terrible, I think. Like, I don't think, as much as you can always say, like, oh, yeah, well, we got the 3 points, that's what matters. Like, no, you should be able to just absolutely destroy Huddersfield. I mean, Huddersfield are so bad. Like, just so bad. Like, do you know... Okay, here's an interesting one. A fact that I saw the other day. So Huddersfield have been in the Premier League now for a season and 7 games. So 45 games.
Yeah.
45 games, so 19 plus 3. So 22 home games. Who do you think their top scorer is at the John Smith Stadium?
I don't know.
Harry Kane. Harry Kane is the top scoring player at the John Smith Stadium in over a season in the fucking Premier League. That's how shit Huddersfield are. And if that doesn't confirm 20th place for them, I don't know what the fuck does.
Yeah, they're very bad. They're very, very, very bad.
And the incredible thing is, Kane scored 4 goals. So no Huddersfield player in 22 attempts has scored more than 4 fucking goals.
That is shocking.
That's like Benteke level bullshit across an entire 11.
They're so fucking terrible. Yeah, so Spurs only winning 2 doesn't look good on them, even though they won 2. The other 2-0, or one of the other 2-0s.
Lots of 2-0s.
Yeah,
I was so annoyed. I was so annoyed when in like the 90 whatever minute, Sigurdsson got a third for Everton. Every 3 o'clock kickoff was going to finish 2-0. Every one. The beauty of it would have been fucking amazing.
Yeah, that would be really nice. I wonder if that's ever happened before. That's a question for Paul Carr. He would definitely have that off the top of his head. I'll tweet him that later. Hashtag root for chaos, all the same scoreline for every match. Well, one of the other 2-0s, of which there are many to choose from, is Man City 2, Brighton 0. How did we feel about that match? Did you guys catch that match? Did you see the highlights?
Yeah, I saw a bit of it, and it's just, it was just another great City performance, I think. They didn't really blow Brighton away, but so with the loss 2 weeks ago against Lyon in the Champions League, and then the game tonight, which they won against Hoffenheim 2-1, they obviously like saving themselves a little bit to make sure they win. Now, I know it's a bit of a cop-out to say that when I just slagged off Spurs for 2-0 when they've got Barcelona this week.
Yeah, but it's Huddersfield, dude. Huddersfield.
Yeah, it's Huddersfield versus Brighton. Like, Brighton aren't mugs. Like, they are still a solid team. And Houghton has them quite well disciplined. And yeah, I like him. I still hate Brighton. But Sterling had a goal and assist, which is always good for us because we root for Sterling, both the player and the pound. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we do. Absolutely. I don't think Oscar
Sure,
does,
I'll go with that.
Yeah.
Just out of solidarity. Why not?
Thanks.
Certainly the player, at least. Goal and assist is nice. Just to throw the stats out there, because I'm the stats guy, just real quick. Man City 2.91 XG, scoring 2. So a little underperforming, but not a crazy amount. And Brighton 0.23 generated. So City didn't really let Brighton do anything there. City are just scary good, right? Like, we don't talk about them that much. We've spent a lot of time talking about Liverpool, a lot of time talking about Burnley and Chelsea, because those are the teams that we might feel for one reason or another people are evaluating incorrectly / we have something interesting to say about. Especially Liverpool, I think we're underrated by a lot of people to start off the year. Now everyone's kind of caught on. And Burnley has just been fucking weird to talk about. But
yeah,
so
well, I mean to skip ahead, because like no one's really that bothered about Everton, Fulham, Wolves, and Southampton, right?
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, okay, cool. So if we go to like Chelsea, Liverpool, I think the reason people are overlooking, not really overlooking City, is because City aren't a new shiny thing this year. So there's the only addition that's been made is Riyad Mahrez coming in, who is a completely known quantity to everyone, and isn't going there to be a main playmaker or creator or a difference maker. He's just going to really bolster their squad. And Benjamin Mendy, who's come back, is kind of effectively a new signing for them because he played so little last year. Whereas Chelsea have Sarri, who's completely brought in a new system. He's only brought in 2 players, though, really, in Arrizabalaga and what's his tits? Jorginho.
Well, and Kovacic, too.
Oh, yeah, and Kovacic. Okay, so 3 players. We'll probably add on more in a second when we remember them. But really done work to change the system. And Liverpool have finally addressed such a major flaw in their game, which is their defence. They truly have an elite level defence at the minute. Now, I think I still have questions over whether they can still perform in the same way if, say, Van Dijk isn't there. Joe Gomez has done a really good job, but I wouldn't fancy him with partnering with like Joel Matip on a consistent basis, or Dejan Lovren or something like that. I wouldn't fancy them as an elite team. But in that situation, that they can still just go for the all-out guns blazing attack. And it seems weird to be saying that about 2 such attacking teams, and for them to play a 1-1 and for it to be such an amazing game this weekend. Like, it really was an absolute cracker and fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, that match, I don't know how it was for neutrals. I'd imagine it was super, super fun, like you just said. From the Chelsea perspective, because obviously I was very emotionally invested, I was thrilled to see them playing so well against such a good team. Obviously it was upsetting to concede so late to a ridiculous goal from Daniel Sturridge. Hats off to him.
Oh, come on. Yeah, that's one of those ones where you can look at the result and go, there wasn't really anything you could do about that. I mean, you can analyse it and say that keeper was flat-footed or what have you, but for Sturridge to come on, and he took 3 touches. He took 1 to control the ball, 1 to move it, and then 1 to hit it. And those were his first 3 touches after coming on. And to do that is phenomenal. And Hazard's goal was fucking incredible as well.
Oh, and he should have had a second too. God, he looked so fucking good. But to finish my point, can't complain about a draw. Like, honestly, I'm happy we didn't lose with, like I talked about last week, Luis and Alonso going up against Salah and Mane and Firmino. Was genuinely scared going into the match. And then they came out of it, and I think Chelsea were probably the better team by a tiny, tiny amount. And the stats do back that up. Chelsea generated 1.8 XG, Liverpool 1.5, so that's barely better, but slightly. Although depending on the model, there's different consensus as to who had the better day. But 1-1 is a fair draw, a completely fair result. But that in and of itself speaks volumes to where Chelsea are at, and especially compared to last season, and even compared to like what I was allowing myself to think of them, because I was scared to say like, oh, they're genuinely a title contender, and I'm still not saying that for the record, because there's still a long season to go. But they played as good as Liverpool. They held their own. They could have won easily, and they looked fucking great in attack, even against an elite defense like Liverpool. And they had a couple of scrappy clearances, scrappy saves, but they didn't let Liverpool generate like 2.5, 3 XG, right? So like, they look good. I was super, super, super happy about that.
Yeah, I think you definitely have something to be happy for. And I like that you don't think they're going to win the league, but that's who you put as number one before the season started. Anyway, but yeah, I think it shows when both managers were kind of commenting on how amazing a game it was, and afterwards, and not slagging each other off or slagging off their team like Jose Mourinho probably would, and just understanding that it's still a great spectacle, and I think both coaches would be happy with that result, and both happy from what they saw from their teams. The fact that Chelsea, for your fears, didn't get blown away by that front three, which probably is close to being the best front three in the league, not fucking West Ham. And the fact that Liverpool, they managed to go away to Chelsea and, ride their luck a bit and get that kind of wonder goal off of Sturridge that is the kind of, a millimetre each way, and it's probably not going in. Yeah, it was just a fantastic game and a great kind of neutral watch. It really, really was. Yeah.
Stimmers, what did you think of that match? Did you get a chance to see it?
I think it definitely helped to establish Chelsea as a genuine contender. I mean, it genuinely might be a three-way race for the top now.
That's what we want. You don't want.
Yeah, you really do. Because I mean, as good a spectacle as Man City's season was last season, I mean, it'd be great to have a genuine fight for it. It'd be really good, because it happens every season where it's all tied up, and the only thing you might have is who's finishing in 17th or 18th this season. And
yeah,
and I do love a good three-way. And honest, like, jokes aside, from a footballing fan perspective, like Chelsea, even removing myself from Chelsea being one of the three potentially teams, certainly at least two teams that are in that title race is going to be. You always just want to see an Aguero moment. Right, like that's what this is all about.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
And so, if you can go into the last day of the season, or even thinking back to my favorite Chelsea season, the 2010 one, they broke the record for goals scored, but they went into the last day of the season where if they had drawn and United had won, United would have gotten that title. And Rooney and Drogba were battling it out. They were tied on goals going into the last day for the Golden Boot. And so then Drogba pulls off a hat-trick, secures the Golden Boot. Chelsea wins the title on the last day. Like, that's just the most fun, most exciting thing you can ask for, is when there's like multiple things to care about. As opposed to last season, me and Chuck were sitting in the bar in New York, in like the biggest soccer bar in New York, and it wasn't even that crowded, even though it's last day of the season, because there wasn't really anything to play for.
Yeah.
Just polar opposites. So I'm really hoping it does go all the way this year with Liverpool and hopefully even Chelsea in the title race.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of top three, how are Peterborough getting on, Ian?
Actually, because they're playing now against Sunderland. So I need to check in. It was 1-1 last time I checked. 2-2. Fucking hell.
Fucking hell, against Sunderland.
Oh, Sunderland have had a player sent off as well.
Oh, Jesus Christ! You can't even beat 10-man Sunderland.
Yeah, that's a worry.
Cancel that. I'm not helping out with the Peterborough support anymore.
Okay,
if you can't fucking beat Sunderland, who've got 10 men,
Yeah, no, it's 4 minutes. 4 minutes from the end, and it's 2-2 as it stands.
You can't be top of the league anymore then.
No, we're not. We slipped again behind because Peterborough and Portsmouth have been flip flopping the last couple of weeks. Yeah, we've got a tricky couple of. Well, I was going to say tricky couple of games because we've got Sunderland and then we've got Barnsley on Saturday who are fifth. So yeah, it's going to be one of them things where if we lose the next couple, we do what Peterborough usually do and end up around 6th or 7th. Whereas if we win them, then we've got a bit of a cushion. And we might be all right, but yeah, it's a bit up in the air at the minute.
Yeah, and more cushion for the pushing.
Yeah, we need it.
Have you learned any of the Peterborough's players' names yet, or are you still like?
Yes, I've done that. Because I went to see the loss against Pompey, obviously, and we've got our own Dembele, who's very good with the ball at his feet, which was helpful against Portsmouth when all we were doing was lumping it up to their massive centre backs to clear.
Of course.
Fucking the only player. He was the only player doing anything, and they just seemed allergic to giving the ball to him. It was so annoying.
Oh God, I don't miss Championship, League One football. Like fuck.
Yeah, honestly.
Oscar, have you ever watched one of those games, Oscar?
Oh yeah, I catch the Championship sometimes. It's on TV over here.
No,
the
like, I'm
Championship's
talking
all right.
like League One. Championship's got more money now. It's like I'm talking like Championship like 8 to 10 years ago. So kind of where the League One is at. Oh my God, it was so bad.
It can be painful. It really can. Especially because obviously my son's used to sort of seeing the likes of Chelsea, Liverpool on telly, and then you try and take him to that, and trying to get him enthused about that sort of style of play is just... Yeah, anyway, it was a bit of a tough watch, that one specifically. That was a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, we got a couple of players who can play, but it's... Actually, you know what? I need to stop being negative. We are second in the league. If you'd have offered me at the start, I'd have taken it. It's ridiculous to be quite so negative. It's just that the one match I went to see, we fucking lost. Playing
been
really
hanging out with
badly.
Chuck too much, I think.
Yeah,
Join the fucking club, mate, because the one
I-
game I went to watch, we fucking lost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The one game I went to
admission.
watch, we beat Arsenal. So hey,
Yeah. Do you want to come down to Peterborough?
you guys should just be Chelsea fans, honestly.
Don't just fuck off.
That's the appropriate response.
Yep. No, I understand that. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
So if let's say your son was gonna buy a shirt tomorrow, is Dembele the name he's getting on the back?
No, our striker Jason Cummings, just because it's funny.
Okay, fair enough.
And he's very good, actually. He is a good player as well.
Okay. Well, to transition back to the Premier League, you know who's not very good, but they scored 2 goals
God.
and won? Burnley.
I was worried that you were just going to say Palace then until you said 2 goals.
We'll get to Palace in a minute.
Can we not?
Burnley 2, Cardiff 1. Can I tell you guys the XG on this one? I'm very excited. I've been saving this all week. I haven't brought it up in the group chat or anything.
Go for it.
Burnley scored 2 goals on, 0.1 XG.
Fucking hell. Jesus Christ.
0.1. That's so bad. I know
Cardiff is
it's
so fucking shit. Oh, I love Cardiff, but fuck me, Cardiff is shit.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that the
Ow.
most fucking amazing thing?
How? How do you, because two goals, unless it was an own goal, implies that there were 2 shots.
Yes, that is correct.
So
Yes, it does.
if you're doing a 0 point quick maths, if 2 shots gets you 0.1 xg, that means each one of those shots had like a 1 in 20 chance of going in,
Yep.
and Cardiff conceded both of them.
Yep.
Fucking hell, Chuck. Have you got a calculator open somewhere?
No, I just used to gamble a lot. I told you I'm very good with odds. And that means if it was 2 1 in 20 shots, fuck it.
insane.
Forget it. This is just
That's
ridiculous.
a 1 in 400 chance. If we consider those independent events, which we probably should. Well, actually, no, we shouldn't. But for the sake of simplicity, that's a 1 in 400 chance that they scored 2 goals off those 2 shots.
1 in 400. That's how shit Cardiff are. That in a 400 to 1 situation, they still conceded.
Burnley, 2 wins on the bounce, but are they actually any good? I think for me, the answer is a resounding no. They are not good yet.
Yep, I'm good with that.
But this game being the only game on Sunday was an absolute gift to the sort of Premier League fans, like widows who constantly lose their husbands or whatever to Premier League football. Because who gave a shit about this game? I mean, everyone took the opportunity to go and walk the dog, get a haircut, whatever. That's what I did.
I mean, well worth your Sky subscription, that one.
Well, yeah, I mean...
that game literally cost you a tenner to not watch.
Exactly, yeah. Super Sunday. But, I mean, this game... I've got some stats now as well, sorry, but... got from
stats competition.
Right. So Cardiff Burnley set a five-year record for the lack of actual playing time in a Premier League match. The ball was only in play for 42 minutes.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's pretty poor. The Cardiff had 20 throw-ins, and Morrison, their defender, took an average of 25 seconds for each one. So throw-ins alone, they took over 8 minutes. I mean, we were not... Anyone who didn't watch this was not missing anything.
Did any of us watch that? I didn't watch it.
No, I didn't watch it. I genuinely went for a haircut and took the dog for a walk.
those weren't things that Ian was fucking out of midair. That's what he did.
I'm not capable of metaphor. That was genuinely what happened. I could not be bothered with that.
Why would that be the only game? Especially with this bullshit rule about 3 o'clock kickoffs, etc. Like, just put another game on, make it 2. Like, have that. It's like with boxing fights. Like, you know, have Cardiff Burnley as like an undercard, like a sort of an amuse-bouche, if you will.
Yeah.
Then, like, you have to watch a certain percentage of it to unlock the second game, which would be like Chelsea-Liverpool.
Amazing, yeah.
Like a credit-based system to get to watch games. Like, you got to watch this dog shit one first.
No, that's fucking atrocious. 42 minutes played. I mean, the big famous stat you always hear is that the average match only has about an hour of actual minutes played.
Yeah.
But that's still 18 minutes less.
Yeah.
From 60. Like, that's
and 8 minutes
bad.
alone just waiting for him to take throw-ins.
Yeah,
Amazing.
And the thing is, you know, when the ball was in play, it would have been fucking dire as well.
Does that point 1 reflect more poorly on Burnley or on Cardiff?
I don't really know. I don't think it's our place to judge. I think we just need to, you know, give them a little cuddle. And let them know that one of them might be still in the Premier League.
Burnley might.
So
stay
Burnley
up.
might.
Not Cardiff.
Okay, good.
Wasn't Cardiff, guys.
Yeah.
How shit are the bottom 7 teams that Burnley might actually stay up? Like, my God. They're so fucking bad. Although, here's the thing. Remember last year we had a big old laugh about how they actually somehow managed to overperform their XG? Despite scoring so few goals?
Yep.
They're on track again. They're wildly overperforming their numbers. There are...
Well, of course they are, if they're generating fucking 0.1. If they're scoring 400 to 1 wonder goals.
There are 4 teams that have most significantly... So I tweeted a graph, if you guys want to go on the Twitter. I tweeted it from the account, for those of you listening in the future. But there's a graph that's just a regression line of basically an advanced stat that I won't go into about how well a team should have done given XG and XGA and XG chain and blah, 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 versus how much they actually did. There are 5 teams that are massively above the line, so huge liars compared to everyone else. Those teams are Liverpool, Tottenham, Arsenal, Chelsea, and Burnley. So to go back to that conversation of, like, sometimes you way overperform because you have elite striking talent, like a lot of the top 6 do. And sometimes it's other factors, let's say, that have you overperform your underlying stats. I'll leave it up to you guys to decide where Burnley falls into that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's queuing up a £50 million bid for Ashley Barnes.
Yeah, although you know who could do with Ashley Barnes?
Speaking of a lack of striking talent.
Yeah, exactly. How are you feeling, Chuck, about Bournemouth 2, Palace 1?
God, that was just a massive bloody cock punch.
Sacco's having a good season, isn't he?
What a
Okay, that's that game summed up.
And we, like, that second half, if anyone watched it, like, Palace weren't good in the first half really at all. Like, as shows from the fact Bournemouth scored after 5 minutes, they just weren't at the races at all, and we don't get started quickly in games. It's ridiculous. We never have. I don't understand how you can change over years and years and different managers and different players, but the team can fundamentally still do some things the exact same way. the second half, we came out absolutely flying, and Van Aanholt scored a fantastic goal, and we were playing really well, and we absolutely dominated. I think a stat came up in the game after about 15 minutes. I think we'd had 72% possession in the second half. Like, just in the second half. That's huge. And then we're fighting, missing a few chances here or there. We can't break down teams playing possession. And then Sacco just goes and like punches someone in the face. And then gives away a penalty in the 88th minute.
Not good.
No good at all. And Bournemouth generated 1.9, scored 2. Palace generated 0.4, scored 1. So that's actually a decent day for Palace in terms of the stats compared to the result there.
I just thought you meant because we scored a goal.
And you scored a goal. You done a goal.
Scored a goal. Done a goal. Can't score a goal at home. Scored every single one of our goals away this season. Everyone.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What's up with Zaha lately?
What do you mean, what's up with Zaha lately?
Is he bad now? Is he good? Is the team around him failing?
No, we're just all shit.
Just all?
We're just all shit. I don't really know. I think there's no... I think there's no real drive from the team, and we said this when Zaha was out, that everybody looked clueless. And I don't, as much as we were playing possession football, we were playing in a way that I very much get annoyed with, and why I don't watch, like, say, South American football, for example. South American teams can be 1-0 down in a 93rd minute of a cup final and still be passing it around between the centre-backs. And that's exactly what Palace were doing. From after the penalty and going 2-1 down then and having however many minutes left, and then I think it was 4 minutes added on, we then just kept passing it back to the centre-backs, who were just kind of passing it between each other, and then Milivojevic was dropping between them, and then at one point Kouyaté dropped between them. So we were back in our own half with the ball, playing still with a back four across, just all kind of past each other, going, no, you pick out the pass to the front. No, you pick up, like, passing it between fucking central defenders and defensive midfielders to try and play a Kevin De Bruyne pass. Like, it just looked really, really clueless. And, I mean, it's Palace, really. What am I talking about? We got 7 points more than we did at this point last year.
Yep.
We've got 5 goals more than we had at this point last year. Worth noting, we've scored 5 this year, so there you go. And we've got 7 points. So I did like that on the fucking 7th game, anyone that was watching Sky Sports, they had Frank de Boer commentating on the game. Like, what the fuck? Like, the guy was so clueless. He couldn't even name the Palace players. He couldn't even name the Palace players that he fucking managed. Like, that's how shit his stint was. He's like going there like, and Van Aanholt. You're like, oh great! Not only did you fucking coach him, he's from your country, plays for your national team. Like, Jesus Christ, save us from this. Shit. Palace not good, but we'll be all right. We'll still stay up. It's fine. And I hate Bournemouth. I do. I really hate Bournemouth and Eddie Howe.
Sounds good. I have nothing to add to that. Stimmers, do you have anything to add to that? I think Chuck basically covered it there.
Only that I want to know why Chuck dislikes Eddie Howe quite so much.
Because he's a smug little prick, isn't he? He's basically everything in him. Imagine him in 10 to 15 years, right? Alan Pardew.
Alan Pardew's a handsome man.
He's a millennial Pardew. That's what he is. He's the millennial Pardew.
Okay.
Oh, geez. All right.
Smug bastard who everyone thinks is great because, plucky Bournemouth. He's been with them a while. When they've got a team full of horrible fucking scroats, what's his name, Adam Smith, and just like scumbags who just kick lumps out of people. But everyone loves them because it's Bournemouth and they've got a tiny stadium. Fuck off.
That's awesome. So that wraps it up for this week's fixtures. We're going to take a quick break, refill our water bottles, or in Chuck's case, maybe it's not water, and we'll come back and talk Predictor League and listener questions. So stick around.
Welcome back to Miles Offside podcast, where we've kind of been talking actually for once mostly about football.
Well,
going on,
I mean, we
really.
went off for about 3 minutes on The Lion King, but yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, that is exactly how we started. So, yeah, fair. So, we've talked about football that's already been. And speaking of which, it's still got, obviously, our Predictor League going. Not a ton has changed with regards to the top of the table. We do have a couple of people now in joint third, which is John OG and Jordan. Then in second is a good friend of ours, Pad Full. And still top of the table, rocking out, is Mr. Adam P at 3-5, who has got a very respectable 32.
He's got a little points cushion there, hasn't he?
A little bit of a points cushion. He's got 8 points on Pad Full in second.
Yeah.
And the two guys, obviously, that are holding up third are just ahead of a nice little group of friends, which is a friend of ours, Dave Mateo. Some of you might know him as a former friend of the podcast. He's been fully ostracised. JD, Mr. James Doncaster, and also someone you might know, Oscar. It's your wife. Your wife is also in joint fifth position.
She's really mad because I told her Burnley's good.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think she listened to your advice when doing her predictions.
No, she didn't. She never does.
It's probably for the best, mate, because you're not doing very well.
No, hey, I have the most points, okay? I don't want to hear it.
Changer le disc.
I think I still don't understand how this game works. Man, you know, you talk about me being in last place, but West Ham are finally coming good. I think I'm going to be rising up the table with West Ham.
Yeah, you keep going on about West Ham and that being your saving grace, but even though West Ham won this week and have risen to 14th in the league, your score actually got worse.
God damn it.
You're still in last, but the next person above you is now like 12 points ahead. As opposed to 6 from last week.
So it turns out not having all your eggs in an Olympic Stadium shaped basket is working out for you.
Is it Wolves and Manchester United then? I know I have Manchester United like second, I think, or maybe third, and I have Wolves.
You've got Manchester
last.
United in fourth.
Okay.
I like that the only analysis of anyone's predictions we're doing each week is Oscar and where he's doing so shit.
He's so firmly at the bottom though, and I don't usually ever get to feel football knowledge superior to him. That we've got to take this opportunity where we can.
Yeah, absolutely. Same right here. So there you go, guys.
Just have to rename this to the slagging off Oscar section.
Slagging off Oscar League. Yeah, absolutely. Where whoever slags off Oscar in the best way gets a £50 gift card to the club of their choice.
Yeah. Sponsored by the Pomegranate Marketing Board.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's seedy. I figured that'd be the tagline, I guess.
Yeah.
So, Ian, you're doing relatively well and still up in 8th position. You'll be pleased to know you're still beating your boy. Finley's down in 20th.
Oh, right, in the game. Yep. In the
game, guys. Okay. Don't call child services.
No, it's fine. I don't.
They're probably quite busy in Peterborough anyway.
Just a lot going on.
Oh.
Yeah. On the least of their worries.
It's the North, Oscar. Don't recoil in disgust.
It's not the North. Okay, whatever. Just carry on. Yep.
Pretty sure it's the North. I'm pretty sure it's the North.
Oh,
that's what I've heard.
Is it? Sorry, is it Rhode Island, boy? Is it? Right, okay. Keep telling me what's the North.
Finley is keeping Oscar company down there at the very, very bottom. He's in the relegation zone. I'm only just scraping ahead of him up in 16th out of 22. Take it. I'll take it. Yeah, that's it, really. Predictions.
Yay.
I
love this segment.
Tune in next week when we see if Oscar can somehow manage to get to 23rd position.
Even though West Ham are top.
Yeah.
That would be bad for me. I have mid-table.
I shut the league, but I'll let a few people in just to bump Oscar down a little bit.
Yeah.
No, newer people always do better anyway because they fucking cheat because they have all the new information.
Yeah, well, that'll change next season, won't it? When we're like massive and popular and stuff, and I have to outsource organising a spreadsheet because I don't have time. Only just had enough time by doing 22 people over the space of about 7 weeks, mate. so
It bodes well, doesn't it?
yeah, I really hope we don't go big, guys. And at this rate, we fucking won't. Questions? Ian, got anything for us?
Yeah, one from Oscar's wife, just to show to show how massive we are. She's asked, what are your thoughts on the Journey story mode in FIFA?
I like it. It's the third of a trilogy. I'm having a lot of fun. I've enjoyed the first two. I thought it was a really neat addition to FIFA as opposed to just like constantly just playing the same people online over and over and over again. It's cool. It's cool that there's like a story mode to it.
What is it? Because I know nothing about it.
So there's a fictional... Do you remember the Goal movies?
Yes.
It's the same thing. You're just a young up-and-coming player.
Oh, okay.
You get shipped off to Newcastle on loan.
Oh, really?
And
It's exactly
you end up getting signed for Real Madrid after a while.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, there was big hype. Like, you play this guy called Alex Hunter, aka Marcus Rashford, the year it came out. Like, because you play this kid who gets signed up, and
okay.
then you basically pick your team after going through trials, and then you play for that team, and then no matter how many goals you score, you get sent out on fucking loan to the championship. It had like a lot of hype, and you're right, like it's good to have something a bit different at least. That's not just, repetitively playing your first season over and over and seeing how many players you can buy in the transfer window on free agencies. But it kind of annoyed me that they said it would be like this all-encompassing thing, but you don't really get to select like what actually happens. So yeah, in my first season, obviously like I picked to play for Palace, and playing up front, I score like 20 something goals in the first 10 games and then still get put out on loan. Or in season 2, you have like this fake agent who speaks to you and says you're going to get a place at Real Madrid. When I was like, well, I don't really want to play for Real Madrid. I just want to stay at Palace. And then you end up getting shipped out because, you fought against your contract at your home club to get this one. And it turns out it's a fake agent. So, that's like not like the porn.
Brilliant.
Jesus Christ.
You lose your place at the club because you're going for another thing. And then you just have to go like play for LA Galaxy for ages. Then you're just like stuck in America. I don't know. No, it's not good.
Yeah, it's a fate worse than death having to play in the MLS.
Yeah, bullshit.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like that you get to like have cutscenes and say things and whatever, but like I want to just play for Chelsea. I don't think that it's a given that everyone wants to play for Real Madrid eventually. Not everyone is Thibaut Courtois. Fucker. Fucking asshole.
I did enjoy the pictures going around of Peter Cech in his headgear, like renegotiating his contract or whatever. That was really good.
Yeah, that was good if you go into negotiation meetings. Sometimes those rooms have low ceilings, guys.
True. Yeah, he might bash his head. He did tweet about it, didn't he?
Yeah, I love that he tweeted. He said, I would definitely be wearing a tie. Because the character is like wearing a helmet but no tie. It's like just a suit jacket. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Good stuff. And Cody asks, who is more likely to keep their good form going over the season, Man City or Liverpool?
I still think Man City. I still think even though Liverpool have strengthened at the back, I don't think they've still been that convincing. Or if Klopp can sustain them for a whole season, I think City, even though like we said earlier, they're not as exciting and as in the way that they're not like a brand new thing or a completely innovative thing.
Yeah.
I think people will just kind of overlook them a bit, but they'll just be solid all year, I think, and blow away so many teams and nick results everywhere. I think it'll be Man City.
Yeah, and the stats actually exactly agree with you, Chuck. City have scored 21 on 21.4 XG and have allowed 3 on 3.4 XG. So they are exactly where they need to be. Yeah.
Spot on for stats.
Yeah, which is terrifying because all the other top teams are, we just talked about this in the first part. They are, quote, overperforming probably because they have elite striking talent. But City somehow aren't overperforming, and they are far and away the best team according to the underlying stats. The only caveat being that they've had an absurdly easy schedule to start the season. They have played Arsenal on opening day. Arsenal hadn't figured anything out yet, and they haven't even looked that good. Then Huddersfield, then Wolves, who are actually decent, then Newcastle, then Fulham at the Etihad too, then Cardiff, and then Brighton. So not exactly a who's who, whereas Liverpool and Chelsea had to play each other, obviously, and not quite as bad teams, I would say, as City. So, there's a caveat there, but I think the numbers definitely favor City being able to keep this up because they haven't overperformed anything.
Is there anything in a possible lack of striking depth with Man City? Because Pep does not seem to trust Jesus at all, and it's not like Aguero's above getting an injury.
No, but Jesus came in last year and did really well when Aguero was out for that time.
What's Pep's apparent problem with him? Because I think Aguero's playing tonight, hasn't he? Played the full 90 tonight. We're recording on Tuesday night, so I mean, he doesn't seem to want to go near Jesus at all.
I think just the way Aguero's been playing, especially at the start of this season towards the end, because in the off season towards the end of last season he had a surgery on his knee, I believe, from which he came back and said, I've genuinely never felt better, like it's relieved sort of tension and pain in my knee. And you look at the way he's been playing, like every game, even when he scored and then been subbed off in like between kind of the 60th to 70th minute, like he could have had 2 or 3 in all of those games.
Yeah,
like he's been fantastic and generating shots everywhere. So when a guy's that much in form, like even Pep, who loves a bit of rotation, isn't going to drop him, especially this early. Like you don't need to worry so much about rotation now at the start of the season because you're going to have international breaks.
Exactly.
You are going to have a little bit of pile up with the Champions League and League Cup, but he's not going to play Aguero in the League Cup so much.
Yeah. I do think we're going to start seeing some more rotation now going forward, and I also think, like Chuck said, that Aguero's been in undroppable form. Kind of one of the lesser spoken about stories so far this season because of so many other notable things happening, but Aguero's been top Aguero level. Yeah. And so when that's happening, you're not going to take him out to play Jesus, but I do think that like he trusts Jesus. He showed that last season. I don't think that they've had a falling out or anything. And Jesus is certainly capable of coming in and putting in some very good performances, so I don't worry that. Plus, De Bruyne started practicing again today. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah, I did see that.
So he's about to come back. Like, they're just fucking terrifying.
Yeah, I'd expect Aguero probably to still play this weekend because it's Liverpool, so Liverpool away. But then you've got the international break, and then they've got Burnley, then afterwards Tottenham, then Southampton, then Man United. So I'd expect a little bit of rotation coming into probably from the Southampton game onwards.
Yeah. And the Champions League is somewhere in there. I don't know exactly when, but I know that's not far off either.
Okay. Right, Queen Banger got in touch again, and I think she's gone a bit early here, but she asks, what's your best or worst experiences of Halloween? I mean, Halloween's a massive deal in America compared to over here, but have you got anything at all?
Oh, I fucking love Halloween. Any chance to put on a costume and get drunk with other people in costumes, like just being drunk and seeing people wearing ridiculous outfits is a good time. Although you guys call them fancy dress parties over there, right?
Yeah.
Which fancy is dress, just really dumb. I'm sorry, but that's so dumb because it's not fancy dress at all. To me, that's like when I first heard about fancy dress parties, I thought it was like tuxedos and ball gowns. And then turns out it's costume parties, and I was like, what the fuck is that about?
No, so that's one where it does actually make sense. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I'll give you that one.
Yeah, fancy dress doesn't make any sense at all.
But Chuck, do you have any good Halloween stories?
I can't stand Halloween. It is definitely one of those things that doesn't translate across the pond. It's awful. It's so bad. It's just this stuff for kids who are just going to come around and throw stuff at the house because you're all inside, but you turn the lights off and you don't answer the doorbell because you want to pretend you're out.
Yeah.
Because if you do give them sweets and they're not good enough, they're just going to throw eggs at your windows and shit through your letterbox.
Jeez, sounds like you just have too many hooligans where you live, I think.
Yeah, I'm not a rich man. But yeah, I don't know. I've never been a fan of like dressing up and stuff like that as well, or like putting on costumes and.
You know, you've got a baby due very soon, 4 or 5 years. You're gonna have to be doing all this stuff. I mean,
Oh, but that's fine because it's not for me. It will be for the baby's
that
benefit.
is the thing.
Like when it's for me, I'm not that fussed about it. Like I've worked in a place, where you basically everybody apart from management and security like dressed up for Halloween. So you're still like working behind the bar. And so I managed to get a Sub-Zero Mortal Kombat costume.
Amazing.
Nice.
And obviously working behind a bar, I just spent the whole night throwing ice at people.
Of course, yeah. Why wouldn't you?
Not just the people working beside me, like just
Customers.
guests over the bar and stuff, just throwing balls of ice at them, and they'd all be really angry until they clocked. And there was
Oh, fucking ninjas throwing ice at me.
exactly like, who the fuck is this guy? What are you? Oh, I'm Sub-Zero. That's not scary. Till you haven't fucking seen Mortal Kombat. Rip a guy's skull and spine out. But at one point, I left the bar and was going to the toilet, and came back from the staff area, and there was a guy there who was dressed as Scorpion.
Oh my god.
So walked past the back of him and just pushed him like massively, like pushed him and launched him across the room. And he's probably just under like 6 foot tall, but he was quite a built guy. Like you could tell he go to the gym. And he turned around ready to square up at me, and I just stood in like a perfect like Mortal Kombat stance. And it took him about 5 seconds to clock it. And then he's just like pissed himself and like started hugging me. So that's probably the best experience I've had. But at that point, I was like, shit, I'm going to get into a fight. I'm going to get my head kicked in, and I'm also going to get fired. Like
That's funny.
I was gonna say, you act like that situation wasn't fully your own making. I mean, you went up to a guy and shoved him in the back. I mean, like...
Yeah, not going to lie. I used to drink a lot of work. Let's just...
But guys, some good news. Dave Mateo's out of his coma.
I forgot we made that joke last week that he might be dead.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
no, I was very pleased to hear from him.
I believe I said he'd better be in a coma.
I think it's more
if I recall.
Yeah, he's turned it round, and I think he feels quite bad because he has sent us about 20 questions this week.
Fantastic.
So he's fully off the hook. Fully off the hook.
Well, we'll see what the questions are first.
Okay, first question is fuck, marry, kill Big Sam, Mike Ashley, Akinfenwa.
Marry Akinfenwa because he could protect you. Fuck Mike Ashley because fuck that guy. What a terrible fucking owner. And kill Big Sam.
Yeah, there's no winning. There's like everyone's going marry Akinfenwa because he's a big boy, and I wouldn't. Yeah, I couldn't kill him. That's what I mean.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, we're all marrying.
And then the other two, let's just flip a coin.
Yeah, pretty much. I think I'd probably
get rid of either.
Although if you kill Mike Ashley, you're pretty much going to be given like the freedom of the city of Newcastle, aren't you? I mean, you might not want that, but
yeah, but then you have to go to Newcastle. I was about to say.
Well, exactly.
Congratulations! Last week last week we kind of endorsed and endeared ourselves to the population of Newcastle by saying they were great because they were close to Scotland, and now this week you jumped in going, "Fuck Newcastle."
Yeah.
Oh, they're great. I just don't want to go there. they're great from a distance.
Okay. This one's good. You get hired to replace Mourinho at Manchester United. What do you do to get all the players on side with you?
Party bus.
Party bus.
Party bus. Get all the fucking lads. Get them on a bus. Get a load of piss in. Get Juan Mata so drunk he just like dangles out the back of the bus and feels like he's part of the team again. Make Luke Shaw run behind so he like sheds a few. Big Pogba on the decks because he loves his music. Him and Big Ron doing a bit of that. Have a massive party. Have a Christmas party. Give him something to give a shit about again.
Yeah, and they're used to being on a bus too, so that'd be feel right at home there.
There you go. If you want to like link it back to football, fine. But I was just talking about having a massive piss up.
I feel like that'd be your solution to a lot of stuff. But I got that I'd buy Sanchez another dog.
I'm a bit worried about that. It's a bit weird.
Is it?
Not gonna lie.
Yeah, he does love his dogs.
Yeah, dogging.
Oh,
It's not the same thing at all.
No, just got the word in it. And yeah, I think I'd start calling myself iStims as well to get in with Jaylings.
Yeah.
Go around calling myself iStims to everyone. Hashtag
You're
iStims.
such a prick.
You better put that hashtag when we release the episode. Hashtag iStims. With a Z.
Where is the Z before Stims or at the end?
It replaces the S and at the end.
Brilliant.
I've not thought this through.
Eloquent.
Yeah, this is not good. This is not good radio.
No, I'll probably cut all this.
He won't, you
Right.
know. He's lazy.
Yeah, that is true. I've got lazy. As time's gone on, I've got much lazier with the cutting. I'll just be like, a whole swathe of it. Fuck it, that can all stay in. That's fine. This one's just for me and you, Oscar. What would you name Chuck's baby if he sold you naming rights? That's a great one. Well, first of all, how much money would you need to sell naming rights?
Not that much, to be honest. I'm piss broke. I know, like 20 quid.
Brilliant. Okay. I mean, that's less than we're giving to the Predictor League winner, but yeah.
21
So
quid.
actually, that could be an alternate
21.
prize if your club doesn't have a store. You could name Chuck's baby.
Yeah.
Genuinely, if I haven't thought of a name by the end of the season, like, I'm in trouble.
Well, yeah, that's true, yeah.
That is a long way away.
Yeah.
I have an easy answer for this, obviously.
Yeah.
Jaylings.
The look on Chuck's face.
You can pretend that it's Jessica Lingard.
Jessica Ling.
Bailey.
Jessica. He's going to vomit.
Oh, he's thrown up.
Oh, no.
You thought I was going to say Chelsea too, didn't you?
No, I thought
Chelsea,
you were going to say something hipster related for some reason. Like, you were going to call the child cauliflower couscous or fucking IPA or
Yeah, quinoa microbrew Bailey.
quinoa microbrew. Yeah, there you go.
I would call it the Sports Direct baby.
But I mean, that could happen if I marry Mike Ashley.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
really like that.
Never have to buy a mug again.
No.
Big old Sports Direct mugs.
You're having a girl, aren't you, Chuck?
Yeah, so it might be a bit weird if we call her Sports Direct.
Okay, let's call her Alan Pardew. Brought to you by Mike Ashley's Casinos.
Alana Pardew.
Alana Pardew. Yeah, I like that. That's good.
Chuck looks properly angry after that.
Really
He's just
annoyed.
thinking about having a daughter named Jessica Lingard and Alana Pardew.
Yes, I am. Makes my soul hurt.
If only I had 20 quid. Okay, let's rapid fire some of these then that Dave brought in. If you three got stranded on a desert island, how long would it take Oscar and Stimmers to kill and eat Chuck?
1 hour and 7 minutes.
Yeah, before we run out of food.
Yeah, that's weird because the podcast recording takes longer than that. So I just wonder if we were actually in a studio, does that mean I would die every time we met?
Does Chuck know how dying works?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure as well I'm the fat kid from Lord of the Flies. I mean, you would kill me instantly, I think.
Oh yeah, you're Piggy. You're totally Piggy.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, cheers.
Never read the book. I just saw the episode of Simpsons. That's all.
Yeah.
There is zero doubt we would go full Lord of the Flies within minutes of landing, too.
Yeah.
Any
definitely.
excuse to get naked and start killing each other.
Even still, just on the plane before the plane crashes onto
Yeah.
the desert island. Quick fire, Ian. Stay on track.
Sorry, yeah. Okay, how many 10-year-olds could you fight and win with your bare hands? It's 3 for me.
7.
7? It's bold.
10.
10?
Yeah, I'm just added up your two numbers. Because I'm as strong as both of you combined. What? Next question.
How many 10-year-olds could you eat? If there was an eating competition. No.
Fucking hell.
Not
yeah.
doing that. Not doing that.
Right, next one. Where does Aguero rank in all-time great Premier League strikers?
7.
5. Next.
Okay. Who is the best Australian to play in the history of the Premier League?
Kevin Muscat.
Who the fuck's he?
Exactly. There's been no great Australians.
Tim Cahill. Tim
Tim
Cahill's
Cahill.
really good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be Tim Cahill. Which Premier League player has the most punchable face? Trippier.
Jesse Lingard.
Tim Cahill.
Jesse Lingard's okay.
Jesse Lingard, like, genuinely looks like he needs a fucking punch in the face.
Yep.
Which actors play you in the Miles Offside movie?
Oscar Isaac. He's the only famous Guatemalan. His name is Oscar, and he loves Star Wars.
Does he love Star Wars? Just because he was in Star Wars doesn't mean he loves Star Wars.
He loves Star Wars. And his name is Oscar, and he's Guatemalan.
Okay, so...
And actually, I've had people tell me I look like him, but they're just racists. I don't actually look like him, but that's fine. If they think that, then they'll think it later, too, so good enough.
Okay. James McAvoy for me. I've been told specifically I look like Mr. Tumnus out of the Narnia films. So, it's got to go with that.
Yeah, I got nothing. Who else is a talentless sack of shit? Jesse Lingard. Jesse Lingard will play me in a movie.
This question makes no sense to me. Cereal then milk or milk then cereal?
Cereal then milk.
Cereal then milk.
Of course. What absolute monster guesses how much milk they want? And then, that's fucking bizarre, Dave. Sort yourself out.
Sort your shit out. There is no question there. What about, like, I mean, do you put more? Like, you don't put that much milk. Like, you're not drowning it. You're not making, like, fucking milk and fibre soup.
Oh, I like a very soupy cereal. I have horrible, like, you're going to be angry at me in a second, and I don't care. I pour it, and then I let it sit for like 5 minutes. I walk away, and then I come back once it's nice and soggy.
Just have porridge. Just have porridge if that's what you want.
No, because
if
I
that's
like
what if you're not bothered about the consistency.
It's different flavors.
No, bollocks. Plus, American cereal is all like marshmallows and crap. Just get a bowl of porridge, stick like, I don't know, like 3 fluid ounces of diabetes in it, and then you're all good.
Oh, that sounds really good, actually. Can you send me the recipe for that?
Oscar's fully in. And we'll end on this one. If aliens exist, would you fuck one? Brackets, it's not cheating if it's for science.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we've all seen Species, and it seems worth it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it worked out for Alfred Molina, so...
Yeah, no question there.
Cool. Okay, well, we'll end it there then. So if you want to get in touch with some fucking mental questions like that, we are at Miles Offside Pod on Twitter, or if you want to email us, you can get us milesoffsidepod@gmail.com. And also, we're looking for topic suggestions because we've got another fucking dull international break coming up.
Boo.
Boo, the international break. So we're looking for other things to talk about for that episode specifically. So if you've got anything topic-wise you'd like to hear, then let us know.
Yeah, besides Disney movies, because we're obviously going to talk about Disney movies for an hour.
Yeah,
and then
that seems like a
what
good,
Disney movies? Suggest your Disney movies. Actually, everything that we've put aside, the Rocky franchise.
Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, that came up.
Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, yeah, all about that. But it's very much a movie theme. Are we just going to do a movie episode?
Just going to do films, aren't we? Yeah.
Yeah, give us your films. Give us films.
Give us your films.
Give us your films. Make a film. Don't send in a question. Make a film.
And then send it to @DaveMatteo on Twitter in his DMs.
Sorry, @Dave_Matteo.
All homemade videos.
Ooh.
Grim.
I've got some right dodgy ones I can send him. I mean, they're all just me, don't worry.
Sure, you're not... It's just the fact you directly look at the camera when it's happening. It's just really off-putting.
Yeah, aggressive eye contact.
Yeah, it's very hard to maintain an erection.
You'll manage. So, why don't we go through next week's fixtures? Starts off with a Friday night game.
I thought you were going to take us through it then, Ian. You were taking charge of a different segment. I like that.
No, I won't.
Go on, Ian. Ian, this week, take us through the fixtures. Let us journey on the good ship Stimson through game week 8.
#iStims. No one wants that though, Chuck. That's the thing, because I'll go Brighton, West Ham, don't really know about them. Burnley, Huddersfield, they're still shit. Crystal Palace, Wolves, I actually am interested in that game. That could be good.
Yeah, we're going to lose.
You are that pessimistic?
No, just Wolves are that good.
Yeah, they are.
Palace don't
really
score
good.
at home either, so.
No, exactly. Next fixture, Ian.
Leicester, Everton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Spurs, Cardiff.
Wembley, Wales versus England. International game before the international break. There you go.
Actually, all of Spurs are out. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah.
Like fucking everybody.
They have
Ericsson's
got no
out.
players.
Ali's out. Lloris is out.
Yeah, but it's Cardiff. They'll
Yeah.
still win.
That's true.
Exactly.
They could play an entire team of Kyle Walker-Peters, Harry Kane Peters, Hugo Lloris Peters. They'd still beat Cardiff.
Peters, he gets around North London, doesn't he?
Loves it. He's a slut.
Anyway, Son's going to score like a double hat-trick, so save
Yeah.
my fantasy football season.
Yeah, go for it. He'll have to, because otherwise you are fucked.
I'm totally fucked. Watford Bournemouth. That could be
Yeah.
good, couldn't it?
Yeah, that could be.
It also
enjoying this.
could not be, I guess.
It could not be.
No, you know what? I'll put my money down on that one to be high scoring. They're both pretty open teams. They both have a pretty decent attack. 3-2 to Watford. Yeah.
3-2 to Watford. Okay.
Yeah.
Man United Newcastle. I mean,
Shit
this-
and shitter.
Yeah, I was going to say this could go either way, couldn't it?
I think it would be absolutely hilarious if Man United have a good match, but then concede an own goal or a dodgy penalty on a bad call. So, like, they score 2, look good the whole match, and
Yeah.
then just right at the end, just fucking everything goes wrong all at once.
Yeah.
That would bring me such untold joy.
Okay, and Sunday's matches, the early one is Fulham Arsenal.
R.I.P. Arsenal. Fulham will win that.
Mitro.
Yeah.
Mitro.
Team Mitrovic.
Okay, fully behind Fulham on that one. Southampton Chelsea, you've got to be happy with that one, Oscar.
4-0 Chelsea.
R.I.P. Raf, our good friend Raf. Sorry.
Yeah.
In
sorry,
advance. Of course, that's hubris. I've been like playing down Chelsea, and now they're gonna get fucking dicked by Southampton because I said that.
No, they won't.
Yeah.
No,
Hopefully
don't do that.
Hazard can continue his amazing form, and he from what I heard, he's actually wants the Golden Boot this year. So
Yeah, I heard that.
As opposed to all those other years where he's like, oh, I'm not bothered. I'm not even
Didn't
trying.
fancy it, yeah.
Yeah, no, honestly,
Yeah.
like it's never
Don't
been his
fancy it.
priority to score
Didn't
goals.
want to be good. Nah, didn't want to. Didn't bother. You know what I mean?
He's always said that he likes assisting more than scoring. That's
Load
been
of
his
bloody
go-to
waffle.
thing.
That is. Load of waffle.
Belgian, isn't he?
Yeah, that was the joke, dickhead.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know.
I got the joke.
But what you did is you pointed and winked, which on an audio forum is not the best thing. So I just
Yeah,
thought
to you guys. To
Yeah, I know.
insinuate.
I
Clever
just,
joke.
Oh, I see.
You got to do the
And
click,
then-
or the other one you do is badum-ts. People love that.
Yeah, they love it.
People love
they love
that.
it.
People
It's
love
sort
it.
of like when you do the emojis on Skype, and everyone can really get involved with it. Hey, look! No, wait! Last game. Look, we're at a good game now.
Liverpool City. Who's gonna win? Chuck. Who wins?
City. Wait, it's at Anfield, right?
It's at
Yeah.
Anfield, yeah.
Yeah, still City. Still City win.
Ian.
I'm going to go what I went with before. Score draw, 1-1.
Ooh.
I'll take the other one and I'll say Liverpool win. 2 goals on the break. City will have all the possession. Liverpool will let them take up that space and come out, and then they'll just attack lightning fast behind.
Now go OG Liverpool. Last year
Yeah.
when they didn't have a defence.
Yeah, although this year they do have a defense and they can still counterattack super quick. So I think that's a potentially dangerous recipe for City, but we'll see.
Yeah. And there you have it. We almost like kind of did a rapid fire section there. Hooray!
Was rapid fire. Yay!
We didn't even announce it as such. Oh well. So that's it for us for this week. Enjoy the rest of your week, I guess. When you get this, have a lovely weekend. Maybe go for a stroll, like Ian said, during one of the boring games. Get your hair cut, walk the dog, run yourself a nice long bath. Go back and listen to Oscar's bronchitis episode, because that's will really ease you into the bath.
Yeah. Bang on, Careless Whisper.
Bang on Careless Whisper, and enjoy that sexy sax.
That took a turn, didn't it?
Yeah, I thought, well, it kind of went back to kind of being nice, didn't it?
See you next week.
Okay, bye.
Chihuahua. Yeah.